Howdy neighbor, how is your winter vegetable gardening going? Mine is doing awesome. And today what I wanted to make sure we could do to keep it going really strong is I wanted to make sure that we could talk about what to plant in February and of course talk about our February vegetable garden tips. So let's jump into those. Now, similar to January, December, and November, we're still talking about cold weather crops. We are not out of cold weather crop season. So if you've been stressing out as you've been going back to work from the holidays, or for those who are my snowbirds, you're heading back to Florida, maybe you're up north, you still have time to get some of these cold weather crops in the ground. So we're talking your lettuces, your onions, your beets, your radishes, carrots, of course, all your brassicas like cauliflower and broccoli and cabbages, all those good things. You still have time, which is great. Now for my South Floridians, your window is about to close. So you're going to be running out of any time to be able to do this. And you guys probably figured it out because South Florida, you're really warm. But North Florida, you may have all the way into early March to have some pretty good weather for this. So you've got time too. But the big thing is get those seeds in the ground if you're going to be doing it by seeds, or you can really accelerate things by picking up some transplants. And if you've been following along through the whole winter and you've been doing a great job about getting things in the ground, another thing to be thinking about, especially if you started things like in November with your cold weather crops, this would be a great time because you're starting to pull out carrots, you're starting to pull out radishes, you're pulling out beets, you've got space. So do some succession planting, go throw another round of lettuces in, go throw another round of beets in that you can turn around before it's really full like tilt warm weather season. The other really exciting thing about February is we are getting into like the crops that are probably people's favorite crops, which would be things like tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers and squashes, right? Like the ones that everyone's like, yes, I want to do all the time. And you can start those now. And what's really great about starting these on the early end, like before we really officially hit spring and our warm weather crop season, is that you can go and try to get some of those bigger, the harvest, not bigger harvest, what I'm trying to say is like bigger fruit, bigger vegetables. So like you're going for those bigger tomatoes or zucchinis and squash that generally as we get a little bit later in the warm season, they're going to be way more vulnerable to pest pressure. But by starting those right now with it's colder and the bugs are just more dormant right now. Because the big thing is that the longer we stay below 60 degrees, the less pest pressure we're going to have on our vegetables. So getting your larger tomatoes going right now, or maybe your sweet bell peppers going right now, can be really beneficial because you won't have the pest pressure that as we head into the spring season that we're going to get a lot later on. But for those who are wanting to get like some of those more pest resilient crops like our Everglades tomatoes and Seminole pumpkins, you can also get those going right now. There's nothing stopping you. It's just one of those things like if you want to have kind of a different mix of crops, this would be one of those times you could do it. And as we're heading out of the cold weather season and into the warm weather season, you still have time to go get potatoes in the ground. So for those who've been really wanting to do potatoes, this is one of your final months to be able to do it. So even if you can't order them from a specialty place, remember oftentimes if you can just go find organic potatoes, those will work here. But because we are going to be starting to ramp up in temperature, sweet potatoes can be started. I know, it's crazy. A friendly reminder, especially for my people who live in North Florida, sweet potatoes are a tropical crop. So even though you can start them, if you're still getting freezing temperatures, don't have your sweet potatoes outside. Now, a few other things that you should really be thinking about as you think about February's vegetable gardens. One is that we're still going to have temperatures that are going to potentially get into freezing. February is one of those months where it's like you can have days in the 70s and 80s, but then also you can have days like in the 30s and 40s. So paying attention still to whether we're going to have any freezes is really critical because we're not past that time period. So make sure you continue to have any of your freeze and frost protection, especially Central and North Florida. South Florida, we're kind of past it, so you're probably okay, but just something to still be paying attention to. The other thing to think about is that I know you're really excited to get going on vegetable gardening, but the weather's still really nice. So if you need to do big projects like getting whole vegetable beds going, building arch trellises, building tons of raised beds, this is still a great time of year. You may have to wear a jacket, but man, that's better than wearing sweating in the middle of summer. So consider any big projects that you want to do. Now is a really good time to do it. And a big watch out for February is that we are still in the middle of the dry season. So we are getting spottier and spottier rain. So if you are starting vegetable crops, if you are starting seedlings, you need to be paying attention to how quickly they're going to dry out. We're still wetter than so many other states in the country, but for us, with the heat that we do get, evaporation is really still a challenge for us. So make sure that you're paying attention to your watering needs of your vegetables. And if you're looking for tips on how to keep you on track for each season, get your free seasonal gardening guide at www.wildfloridian.net/guide. And if you want to use what I use to keep myself on track, well, of course, get the 2023 Wild Floridian Planner. It has what to plant and when to plant it each month, plus tips. Go check that out at www.wildfloridian.net/planner. And if you need some help on how to amend sandy soil, check out this video. Or if you've gone and invested in some raised garden beds and you're wondering, what do I need to do to fill it? Go ahead and check out this video right here. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.